Dear Agni Yoga friends, having recently talked about the spiritual significance of the heart, we will now turn with great reverence to women. They have already developed to a high degree refinement and knowledge of the heart. Thus, they show us the way to the next stage of evolution, to the new man and to a better world. The coming era of Aquarius is the age of women. The approaching great epoch is closely connected with the ascendancy of woman. As in the best days of humanity, the future epoch will again offer woman her rightful place alongside her eternal fellow traveler and co-worker, man. The new epoch under the rays of Uranus will bring the renaissance of woman. The epoch of Maitreya is the epoch of the mother of the world. The holy scripture of the new age, Agni Yoga, is the yoga of the heart and thus of the feminine principle. The further ascent of humanity requires recognition of the special position, role and task of the woman. The epoch of Maitreya is the epoch of woman. Didn't we say that the soul is sexless and thus neither male nor female? Yes, those who are men today have been women in previous incarnations and will be women again in later ones. The spirit has no sex. The latter belongs to the realm of forms. Therefore, any belittling is ignorant. The so-called battle of the sexes is a terrible aberration. If you participate in it, you turn against yourself, namely against your own former or future gender. When men belittle women, they belittle themselves. You must remember that the grandeur of the cosmos is built by the dual origin. Is it possible, therefore, to belittle one element of it? By humiliating woman, man humiliates himself. Therefore, we are not talking about every single woman who may well be unfeminine, but about the female principle in general. Of course, I do not speak of all women, but of those exceptional ones who manifest the subtlest energy. This feminine side is hidden in every man as well. It can and must be awakened and developed. Humankind is masculine and feminine, not just man or woman. You can hardly say of your soul what sex it is. If you pay close attention, you will see that even the most masculine man has a feminine soul, and the most feminine woman a masculine soul. The world of the future, as we have already discussed, will be built by enforcing on earth the principles that apply in heaven: truth, justice, beauty, and love. As was already known in ancient times, these high values are primarily embodied, cultivated, preserved, and defended by women. Truth by the goddess Veritas or Aletheia, justice by the goddess Justitia, beauty and love by the goddess Aphrodite or Venus. The era of women means one thing above all else: a new era of the development of the heart is dawning. A time of refinement of the inner senses, of expansion of consciousness, and of heart knowledge. We already talked about this in detail in the video The Spiritual Significance of the Heart. The great epoch of woman will be distinguished by greater refinement of feelings and of consciousness. The heart of a woman is usually more developed and more sensitive than that of a man. She understands so much better to use this organ for higher knowledge, for the outpouring of love, and for communion with the spiritual world. Every husband experiences daily how his wife senses and recognizes things he does not even notice. For example, the peculiarity of a situation. For where is any author in the world teaches such beauty as a woman's eye? In particular, the woman looks behind the mask, behind the outward appearance, and recognizes the true nature of her fellow man. She senses what they are thinking and what their real moods and intentions are. Women are bearers of the straight knowledge of the heart. Truly, the epoch of the Mother of the World is based upon the cognition of the heart. So you can summon women to understanding through the heart. Let us remember, heart knowledge is infallible. In this respect, women possess tremendous power. Women are bearers of wisdom. The wise woman is actually an archetype of folk wisdom, fairy tales, and legends. It is a terrible aberration when fanatical men demonize, persecute, and burn women with special abilities who are spiritually superior to them. It is a disgrace to humanity that even today we still have to remind people that both sexes are equal. To all these insanities is added the most shameful. The struggle between the male and the female principle flares up again. We insist upon equal and full rights for women. But the servants of darkness expel them from many fields of activity, even where they bring the most benefit. Immeasurable damage is done when primitive societies suppress the special potential of the female part of the population. All the present and coming miseries and the cosmic cataclysms to a great degree result from the subjugation and abasement of woman. The dreadful decline of morality, the diseases and degeneration of some nations are also the result of the slavish dependence of woman. Woman is deprived of the greatest human privilege, complete participation in creative thought and constructive work. The subjugation of women leads to the decline of an entire people. According to the sacred teaching, the fall of humanity began from the time of the abasement of the feminine principle. In order to achieve his goal of becoming the full and only ruler of earth, Lucifer's chief efforts were directed toward the humiliation of woman. He knew that with the demeaning of woman, the coarsening and degeneration of humanity was unavoidable. There exists a most ancient saying, where women are revered and safeguarded, prosperity reigns, and the gods rejoice. Appropriateness, balance, justice, and harmony in general, and in particular in the relationship between the two sexes, is indispensable for the further evolution of mankind. Women's movements have a special significance for the immediate future. They should be understood not as an assertion of supremacy, but as the establishment of justice. Much has been said about appropriateness and equilibrium. Precisely for the realization of this principle must the full rights of women be strengthened. One should not think that this will benefit only women. It will promote worldwide equilibrium, and thus is necessary for harmonious evolution. Unfortunately, the Church has played a particularly disgraceful role in the age-old denigration, indeed downright demonization, of the fairer sex. It has blamed women for the so-called original sin, the fall of man, and the expulsion from paradise. What an absurd interpretation of these passages from the Bible. They actually only symbolize that after a certain time the soul must leave heaven again and incarnate on earth, in order to increase its insight, namely to eat from the tree of knowledge, to gain experience and to develop further. Not one gender dominant or even alone, but only the male and female principles together can reach the greatness to which humanity is destined.